Imagine it. The lights go out. Not just your street, not just your city. Every single light. Everywhere. Not a flicker. Not a surge. Just gone. The grid, dead. And in that immediate suffocating silence, 2.3 million lives hang in the balance. Their doors, their bars, their walls, suddenly rendered as fragile as paper. You think you're safe? You think this is someone else's problem? You are wrong. The world you know, the one governed by predictable routines, by the hum of electricity, by the illusion of control, evaporates in an instant. And in that void, the raw, unvarnished truth of human nature emerges. A truth you would be wise to understand. Because the darkness that swallows their world will inevitably seep into yours. You are already at an advantage. It's a slim one, perhaps, but an advantage nonetheless. You can see this coming. Not the exact moment, not the exact cause, but the potential. You possess foresight. They, trapped within concrete and steel, are the last to know. And by then, it's already too late. The chains of their confinement are suddenly dwarfed by a far more potent adversary. The enemy isn't just the lack of light. It's the chilling, creeping embrace of absolute zero. It's the gnawing emptiness in your gut. It's the primal scream of the mind when its usual anchors are ripped away. It's the desperation that festers in the absence of order. The electricity you take for granted isn't just comfort. It's the very scaffolding of civilization. Without it, that scaffolding crumbles, revealing the brutal, unyielding foundation beneath. Cold. It's the most insidious killer. Your body, a marvel of biological engineering, is a furnace. It generates heat through metabolism. Food, broken down, releases energy. This energy keeps your core temperature at a livable 37 degrees Celsius. But when the external temperature plummets, your body is fighting a losing battle. Without heat, your metabolic rate will slow. Your extremities will numb. Your brain will begin to shut down, not out of malice, but out of pure, unadulterated survival. Your cells, deprived of their optimal environment, will cease to function. Hypothermia isn't a gentle fade. It's a violent, internal surrender. Darkness. It's more than the absence of photons. It's the dismantling of perception. Your brain, a pattern-seeking machine, relies on sensory input. Light is its primary informant. In total darkness, your other senses become amplified, distorted. The creak of a floorboard becomes a thunderclap, and the rustle of fabric, a predator's approach. Your mind, starved of visual cues, begins to hallucinate, to project its deepest fears onto the canvas of nothingness. This psychological assault is as potent as any physical threat. It erodes your capacity for rational thought, pushing you toward instinct, toward primal, often destructive, responses. And then there are the people. Not the ones you know, not your neighbors, not your friends, the ones driven by the same primal fears, amplified by the same darkness and cold. Their desperation, their hunger, their unreasoning panic. They will be your greatest threat. They are the true embodiment of chaos unleashed. In the absence of authority, in the absence of the systems that regulate our behavior, the thin veneer of civility cracks, and what emerges is a pack animal, driven by instinct and the immediate need to survive. You are not exempt from this transformation. You will be tempted. You will be tested. The prisons, however, are a different kind of crucible. Their infrastructure is designed for control, not comfort. Ventilation systems will fail, trapping stale air and rising heat from the bodies within, only to become a death trap when that heat source dies. Plumbing will cease. Sanitation will become an impossibility. The scent of decay, of fear, of sickness will saturate the air, and the inhabitants, stripped of their routines, their medications, their very connection to the outside world, will face an unimaginable ordeal. You are not one of them. You are not locked away. You can prepare. You can adapt. You have the advantage of a mind that can conceive of solutions, even in the face of overwhelming odds. You can look at the detritus of your everyday life, the things you discard without a second thought, and see potential. You can transform the mundane into the magnificent, the useless into the essential. Here are the methods, not comforts, not assurances. Methods. Method 1. The breath of life. Your body is a breathing machine. Every breath you take, you are expending energy, generating heat. In a cold environment, simply breathing consumes precious resources. You need to make every exhalation count. Think about it like this. Your lungs are like tiny furnaces. When it's cold, these furnaces are working overtime to warm the air you inhale before it can damage your delicate tissues. This is a biological imperative. But in a sustained blackout, that imperative becomes a drain. You must minimize heat loss through respiration. The solution is simple, yet profoundly effective. Fabric. Not just any fabric. Dense, woven fabric. A scarf. A thick wool sock pulled over your mouth and nose. Even layered t-shirts held in place. The idea is to trap the warm, moist air you exhale. As you breathe out, this warm air interacts with the cooler fabric. It doesn't just escape into the frigid air, it's held close to your face, pre-warming the air you are about to inhale. This reduces the energy expenditure required by your lungs to bring the incoming air up to body temperature. But it's not just about heat. It's about moisture. When you exhale, you also release water vapor. In a dry, cold environment, this moisture can escape, leading to dehydration. The fabric traps this moisture, rehumidifying the air you inhale. This prevents your respiratory passages from drying out, reducing the risk of infection and improving your overall well-being. It's a closed-loop system, powered by your own biology. Think of it as creating a microclimate for your lungs, a tiny sanctuary against the biting cold. It will feel strange, perhaps even suffocating at first. But remember, comfort is a luxury you can no longer afford. This is about survival. Method 2. The alchemical glow light. It's your enemy's greatest weapon, but it can also be your greatest ally. Forget about grand gestures, about finding generators. Think small. Think fundamental. The ability to see, to navigate, to ward off the encroaching psychological terror of absolute darkness. Here is your beacon. Take any glass container, an old jam jar, a pickle jar, even a discarded plastic water bottle, though glass is preferable for heat retention and safety. Gather dry fibrous material, dead leaves, dry grass, torn strips of cotton fabric, even lint from your pockets. Stuff this material loosely into the bottom of the container. Now, and this is crucial, place a small, short candle in the center. Light the candle. Then, and this is the critical part, loosely screw on the lid. Not tightly. Just enough to create a barrier. And the flame, starved of abundant oxygen, will burn less intensely. But it will burn. The enclosed space will trap the heat, creating a slightly warmer microenvironment. More importantly, the glass will amplify and diffuse the light. This isn't about illuminating a room. It's about creating a focal point, a source of visual comfort, a deterrent against unseen threats. The contained flame, while dim, prevents the total sensory deprivation that drives the mind to madness. It's a controlled combustion, a tiny alchemical act of defiance against the overwhelming darkness. It will smell. It will smoke. It is not a clean solution. It is a desperate one. Method 3. The silent feast hunger. It's a biological imperative, a primal drive that will gnaw at your resolve. The systems that deliver your sustenance are gone. The convenience of pre-packaged meals is a memory. You must become resourceful. Forget hunting. Forget foraging, unless you are an expert. Focus on what you have, what you've overlooked, the accumulated detritus of your consumer society. Those plastic bags, those discarded containers, those empty boxes. They are not just waste, they are raw materials. Your greatest allies are shelf-stable, high-calorie, low-moisture foods. Think dried beans, rice, pasta, oats, nuts, seeds, even powdered milk or broth. These items, stored properly, can last for years. Your task is to make them accessible, to make them manageable. Take those plastic bags, those old food pouches. Clean them if you can, but cleanliness is a secondary concern to utility. Cut them into strips. Weave them. Tie them together. Create small, portable pouches. These are your personal ration packs. Rationing is key. Do not gorge. Do not succumb to the urge to consume everything at once. Your digestive system is not accustomed to such radical changes. Small, frequent portions will sustain you. Chew thoroughly. Absorb every calorie. These dry goods, when rehydrated with any available water, will provide sustained energy. It's not a feast, it's a necessary fuel. And those plastic bags, those woven remnants of convenience, become the vessels of your survival. Method 4. The communal shield. You are not a lone wolf. Not in this scenario. The greatest threat, as we've established, will be other people, driven by fear and desperation. But that fear can also be a binding agent. The prisons are a microcosm of society, and in the absence of external control, internal structures will emerge. Seek out others, not just anyone. Seek out those who exhibit a semblance of reason, those who are not consumed by blind panic. Form small, disciplined units. Your collective presence is a deterrent. A group of individuals, even if unarmed, presents a more formidable challenge than a solitary figure. The psychological impact of seeing multiple people, of hearing multiple voices, can be enough to dissuade those who are looking for easy targets. This isn't about forming a militia. It's about creating a visible, a unified front. It's about presenting a unified narrative of resistance. Establish a defensible location, a place where you can pool resources, share tasks, and maintain a degree of security. The strength of your unit will not be in its size, but in its cohesion, in its shared understanding of the stakes, in its commitment to mutual protection. The silence of isolation is deadly. The collective hum of a unified group, however quiet, is a signal of survival. Method 5. The Earth's embrace. When the world above freezes, the world below offers a different kind of refuge. The Earth itself is an insulator. Its constant temperature, while cooler than your body, is significantly warmer than the ambient air during a deep freeze. Think about subterranean structures, basements, cellars, even digging a pit. Your goal is to escape the direct assault of the wind and the extreme temperature fluctuations of the surface. In the absence of shelter, and even in the presence of inadequate shelter, utilizing the Earth's thermal mass is crucial. Dig a pit. Line it with any available insulating material, dry leaves, blankets, even layers of compacted dirt. This will provide a buffer against the brutal cold. You can use these pits to store provisions, to create a slightly warmer resting space. It's a crude, uncomfortable sanctuary, but it will preserve precious body heat. The Earth, indifferent to your plight, will offer a measure of protection. It requires effort. It requires a willingness to get your hands dirty. But it is a fundamental principle of survival. Method 6. The Scavenger's Eye. The world you inhabited was a world of abundance, a world of discarded potential. The Blackout doesn't erase this. It merely recontextualizes it. Every discarded item is a resource waiting to be repurposed. An umbrella, broken or not, can provide a frame for a makeshift shelter. A torn tarp, a vital barrier against wind and moisture. Rope, always valuable. Plastic containers, for water collection or storage. Think beyond the intended use. Think about form and function. Water collection is paramount. In a blackout, municipal water systems will fail. Any rain, any dew, any condensation becomes a lifeline. Use plastic sheeting to create collection surfaces. Place containers at the lowest points. Even condensation on cold surfaces can be a source of moisture. This is not about luxury. It's about the fundamental necessity of hydration. Your scavenging eye must be trained to see the potential in what others discard. It is the ultimate act of resourcefulness. Method 7. The Mind's Forge. The greatest weapon you possess is not in your hands. It is within your skull. The physical challenges are immense. The threats are real. But the psychological battle is often the deciding factor. When you are alone, in the darkness, with the cold seeping into your bones, your mind can become your greatest tormentor or your greatest ally. You must actively engage it. Recite poetry, sing songs, solve mathematical problems in your head. Recall complex processes. Engage in mental exercises that require focus and discipline. This isn't about distraction. It's about strengthening your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for rational thought and decision-making. By engaging in these mental tasks, you are preventing your mind from spiraling into fear and despair. So you are reinforcing your capacity for logical thought, which is essential for problem-solving and survival. The prisons are filled with minds broken by despair. Yours must be a forge, tempering itself against the heat of adversity. This is a continuous, internal struggle. It is the war for your sanity. The prisons, at this moment, are a silent testament to the fragility of our systems. They are laboratories of desperation. The 2.3 million souls within are a stark reminder of what happens when the scaffolding of civilization collapses. Their struggle is not entirely separate from yours. The same primal forces that will drive them to extremes will also test you. You have an advantage. You can see the potential for darkness. You can prepare. You can adapt. These methods are not guarantees. They are strategies. They are the building blocks of resilience. They are the tools you must wield when the silence becomes deafening and the cold becomes a suffocating blanket. The blackout will end. Eventually. But the lessons learned in the darkness, the raw, unvarnished truths about human nature and our place in the natural order will remain. Your survival will not be a triumph of optimism. It will be a testament to your pragmatism, your adaptability, and your unwavering will to persist. In the face of oblivion, you will simply refuse to fade.